Joyce is the rise in our life. Stop. Last one.
One more time. Right. Second right. Follow me one to the right.
Joyce is the rise in our lives.
And a Ferrari.
Why are you doing this, Jim?
Several reasons. Transport rules my life. As with any other disabled people, it dictates whether I can work or not. It dictates whether I can go out and meet friends and socialise and things like that. And a lot of the times the answer is no, simply because it's just not accessible enough. So a brilliant example is to get to work in the morning if you work around Liverpool Street. From the station, it's a direct train, it's 15 minutes straight through. If I wanted to do that journey, it would take at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half. By that time, I'm absolutely exhausted and I'm not fit to do a day's worth of work. So it literally does rule your life, and it's not fair. It's not fair that in the 21st century we should be excluded through an act that isn't our fault. Nobody chooses to be disabled. This is the 257, and I'm getting on the one behind you.
Yeah, in fact, I probably will, but just literally, so I'll just do exactly what I'm asking. And yeah, so sit there silently the rest of the time. Is that alright? Yeah, no problem. Just for this bit, I think.
Crossrail railway line that they're building. Okay, they're building a new railway line that's supposed to connect East and West London called Crossrail. Right, it's going to have 37 stations on it, but only 30 of those stations are going to make it accessible for wheelchairs and cars to do their own through.
I'm ready to go. I thought I'd start with
Joyce is the rise in our life. Stop. Last one.
One more time. Second right. Follow me one to the right.
Joyce is the rise in our lives.
And a Ferrari. Okay, so that's done. The hand is. our big signing thing. We want a separate Crossrail now. Hey ho! The Crossrail gets off going! Hey ho! Hey ho! The Crossrail gets off going! Hey ho! Hey ho! The Crossrail gets off going! Hey ho! Hey ho! The Crossrail gets off going! Hey ho! Hey ho! The Crossrail gets off going! Hey ho! Hey ho! The Crossrail gets off going! Hey ho! Hey ho! The Crossrail gets off going!
I think the message has come through loud and clear that Department for Transport and TfL must ensure that this is public transport. Yeah, this is transport for you. And this is transport that is future-proof for an ageing generation. I'd like to introduce now Andy Mitchell, who's Crossrail Programme Director, and Sally O'Connor, all the way from Hanwell and Ealing. Paralympic legacy torches. They're going to hand in our placard and all the messages we put on there, calling for full inclusion. Speech, 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 speech. Speech, speech.
What have you got to say for yourselves?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll take this back to our sponsors. We are having discussions with them.
We're having discussions with sponsors. Apparently he's not allowed to use the megaphone, he's been told by someone. I'll have to translate. Okay. What are you saying?
Left and right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming today. I do appreciate... Sorry,
We didn't really want to come, but we have to.
All right, my name is Andy Mitchell. I'm Programme Director for Crossrail. I'd like to thank you all for coming today, making the point, and I will take this position back. I think, as you know, we are working with sponsors to see what we can do to address the last 7 stations of Crossrail that aren't accessible. Your point is well made, and I understand it fully. And what remains now is for us to work with sponsors to see what we can do about it. We have 5 years to go, and I'd like to thank you for coming today. Thank you.
Okay, so the message was that there is time still left to make sure that Crossrail is accessible. It's fantastic. Yes, and we're saying that obviously we do continue to ask people to write to their MPs and get them to sponsor the early day motion 336. I think today has been an absolutely fantastic turnout. We've heard some amazing, inspiring speakers, and it really shows the depth of the disability and disabled people's movement in London, that we can mobilise. Transport is such a huge issue in terms of access, in terms of the thread that connects us to life and to our high streets and our communities and schools and education. We have to make sure that when we're building brand new rail infrastructure, it's accessible and usable. I'd urge everybody to let's keep the fire burning. This is just the beginning. We are having a meeting at City Hall later on today at 2 o'clock, so if you would like to come down, you're very welcome. We're going to be hearing more about how we can actually input into making Crossrail and the stations accessible. So please do come down at City Hall from now.
I just wanted to say that this year, 2013, is the 100th anniversary of the birth of Rosa Parks, a lady who stood up to say no to segregation and to a segregated transport system. And so this is our civil rights battle. In the tradition of the transport civil rights campaigners of America, we continue today to work for a society that includes older people and includes disabled people. I also have a few thank yous. I want to really thank John Abrams from Redbridge for organising in Redbridge. From Manor Park, for
together from Ealing Centre from Independent Living. You have been a star, thank you. I haven't forgotten anyone, but you've all been amazing. I think people don't often realise that for disabled people, travelling is a big deal. It can take many, many hours, early mornings, putting up with broken bus ramps, not being allowed to travel together. There are many, many people who'd love to have been here today but couldn't make it. So our thoughts are with them, and hoping that in the future we have a transport system where we can all get to wherever we want. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
On to City Hall!
Well, it was a bit quiet to start with, but as the proceedings went along, it got a bit louder and a bit rowdier, which it needs to, so it was good, yeah.
Yeah, it's been very successful, and you know, it's also the Disabled People Against Cuts Week of Action, Reclaiming Our Futures, which dovetails lightly with Transport for All's action. We've got a lot of work to do to fight Crossrail for step-free access on the Crossrail project and across all of our transport network, not just in London but throughout the UK, so we can get transport accessible for everyone to use and be independent. We've got a lot of work to do, but you know, we keep fighting.
Crossrail is winning loads of money, and 7 stations they're not considering to give access to all old people, people with prams, and especially wheelchair people. We have to travel miles to get to where we want. It takes hours and more expense. It's absolutely disgraceful that the Crossrail, this new development, once in a lifetime thing, that they are putting this thing together without thinking about us lots.
I don't think right now, no, but that's why we've got to literally keep fighting for our rights and keep campaigning on the issue, keep putting the pressure on, and hopefully we get there in the end. Hopefully sooner rather than later, definitely.
I hope so, because if they don't, there's going to be a lot more of this going on, and it will just get louder. It's like, you know, most people don't even believe us when we say, oh, you know that new railway station, that railway they're building, it's not accessible, and people sort of go, are you joking? Is it a joke? And that's how it sounds to us as well, it's just a joke.